Hi, everyone. I'm your coach, Mahgul, and today we're going to discuss something very special to my heart: leadership in the AI era, burnout free growth. What does that even mean? Lots of you ask me, what does leadership now look like in AI era? Are we embracing AI the way we should? And what does the burnout free growth looks like today for leaders, especially women in tech? In your current role as a leader, as a woman in tech, how many of you are struggling with having a work-life balance, but it's still resulting in burnout, drain, not feeling motivated? The reality is that we don't get burnt out because we're tired. As women in tech, we can actually multitask a lot of different complex projects at the same time, and we don't feel that we're burnt out. In fact, it energizes us that people don't feel burnt out because they're feeling weak or they can't handle tasks. But in fact, if you are working in an energizing, motivating environment, you can handle a lot of work, a lot of cross-functional work, especially if you are a woman in tech, or especially if you're a woman in leadership. You can handle a lot of complex work without feeling burnt out. But the reality of burnt out is, which is misexplained all the time, is that we don't feel burnt out because we have too many tasks happening. Those tasks become tasks when we are not consciously, mindfully leading as a leader. So burnout and demotivated behavior really stems from not evolving as consciously as possible as a leader, especially if you are a female leader, especially if you are a woman in tech and you're working in high stress environment, but you're not mindful and you're not present. That is the reason behind burnout, not because you can't handle a lot of different tasks. So let me ask you something. And this is the first place where you can acknowledge or recognize the real burnout, demotivation in you. Like how many of you feel like you are more reactive in your leadership than proactive? And the first sign to identify that is you would look back in your weekly to monthly timeline. Where did it go in terms of where was your energy and your workload was going? And it would be going from one meeting to another meeting, to setting fire out in one project to another project. That's the first way to acknowledge or recognize that you're going from one reactive task, opportunity, or sort of like work to another. So ask yourself, how much of your leadership is proactive versus reactive? And if a lot of the reactive work is popping up, it's probably the main reason why you're suffering from demotivation and burnout. I'll tell you a little story. I'm a woman in tech who is also an immigrant in tech, and I was also a high school dropout. I chose myself to spend time in gardens, in nature, connecting with things that align with me, then going to school and taking and learning about material that did not align or resonated with me. And as I entered tech, as I came to Stanford University cohort, I found my belonging. And even though some of the subjects that I picked for myself, like getting super interested in philosophy, learning more and more about tech, go-to-market strategies, working in corporate, I found myself very energized. So it comes out, especially as women in tech, when we find our belonging, our voice, structure, a space for growth, we feel energized. It's the opposite of burnout that we discussed, that when we are reactive, we feel drained. We feel like none of our creativity is coming out. And yes, for a lot of us who are beginning to learning systems, beginning to learn everything, it's amazing to have that sort of energy and to learn and also observe at times. But when it comes to your leadership, it's very important that you are in a space, especially as a woman in tech, you're part of a space that allows you to grow, that allows you to flourish and express and come out with your ideas. And that's the mindset that a lot of us leaders are actually struggling with. We are still stuck in old ways. We're still trying to glorify the old ways, whereas the new ways are completely opposite, right? Burnout is not due to working hard, but it's actually working hard on things that do not align with us, right? Belonging and energy really comes from doing things that align with us, with matches with our energy, and really like having that time and clarity into that leadership, mindfulness into that leadership of yours to adapt and grow. So again, when we look at leadership in AI era, what does that really mean? It means is that we need to stop fighting with AI, but in fact come into the mind frame of working smart, not hard, optimizing AI into workflows in a way that we become more and more present and conscious leaders. Because now burnout is a key performance indicator. You might have noticed this surge in coaching, these mental wellness applications, solutions. Why are they surging, and why we are getting more and more awareness around all these areas of performance is because it is no longer okay to work hard as a leader or promote that. But in fact, what does leadership in AI era in true essence look like is optimizing technology to do its work and become a more powerful, present, mindful leader. What does that even look like? So let's talk about what are the old ways of leadership look like, so we can clearly have an understanding of what would the new ways of leadership can do for our culture, for our agility, for business success, right? So back in the days, sleepless, stressed, reactive, hustling nonstop, grinding was glorified. Obsessive behaviors and all of that hard work was glorified as a part of business success. But now in leadership in AI era, it's not glorified. Why? Because a lot of that work can be handled by AI agents if you have optimized all your workflows and your channel marketing and your channel optimization correctly. So what would that make a leader in AI era? Right? What would be the responsibility there? So a leader in AI era comparison to the old one, instead of having like obsessive, anxious behavior, a leader now is more calm, calculative, data-oriented, strategic, system-driven, has more direction, comes more prepared, more intentional about their time, more conscious and mindful, creating a good culture for helping. And the old ways of leadership are completely outdated. And if you are a leader who is fighting with the old ways, you're going to find yourself in new era, exhausted, burnt out, stressed, out of place. And that's because a lot of our hard work is replaced by AI, is bringing us back to our present, to be a leader who is present in the moment, but not hustling and going crazy and stressing and spreading the negative and toxic energy of future goals and grinding, because all of that is now taken care of by AI agents, a lot of like information and strategy that's now provided to us. So what is the framework that brings us from an anxious, stressed leader to a more present and a leader who is mindful and conscious? Well, it always starts with what we have learned from so many different philosophers, from so many different influencers, that create boundaries. Listen to your bandwidth, listen to your capacity. It is no longer okay for leaders to lead with anxiety, to lead with stress. Put some boundaries and protect your ability to think clearly. And that is the only way to performance. So audit yourself, journal, there are so many different hacks on this. If you want to book time, you can book time with me, but apply boundaries as a leader to be able to think clearly. The second thing that you can do to find more performance and mindfulness into your leadership is start adding more impact and strategy. Be more mindful about what each and every interaction is about and how you can change those interactions into more meaningful, more purposeful. A lot of the meetings, a lot of the conversations could be an email, could be a message. Find yourself more and more mindful and present, and a leader who is encouraging others to be motivated and giving them space as well. So here's the truth. And I'm going to say this as bluntly as possible. And you can expect that from me, for all of you who know me. So we are not the leaders who are going to be competing with AI or taking AI and robotics and all these technologies as a threat are going to fall naturally behind, because they're going to be working very hard and stay stuck in manual ways to keep burning themselves out. And the leaders who are actually going to optimize the technology, AI, agentic technology, strategically into their workflows are actually going to find themselves winning, because it is a fact and truth that the startups and founders and companies that are going to win in the next decade, in the next era, are going to be the one who are going to be leading with AI, right? And we have clear fact and clear information on that. Machine can very easily now effectively handle machine work, and human are now brought back to handle leadership with meaning and purpose, right? That does not mean that put your business on AI workflows and go for a vacation and start spending your life drinking and doing all the other crazy things. But instead, it actually means that a lot of the burnout work can be handled, boring work, and the work that demoralized us actually can be handled with AI. And now is the time to bring your energy back to be more present leader. So you can run, this is my hack and blueprint, if you want to adopt that, or if you want to book time and learn this, I can do that as well. But you can run weekly audits, like on a weekly basis as a leader, be as conscious and accountable as possible, and ask yourself, which activities of your business, of your work has been draining you, right? Find yourself clarity and remove bias, friction from your process as much as possible. Or if it is available in your team's process, believe me, it's draining them also. So your leadership, basically conscious leadership, mindful leadership, a leadership that brings more and more diversity as well as agility, is going to be the one that is cutting down BS, taking out bias, and adding boundaries, respectful and integral of your own time and others. So what did we learn from this? That's the most attractive thing in leadership today isn't hustle, but it's actually presence. It's being mindful, leading with consciousness, partnering up with AI, opening up to newer technology, and thrive. And I am going to say that AI definitely is not, like, to all of you who are living in this bias that AI and robotics and this technology is actually taking over, it's going to replace your intelligence. No, it's not going to replace your intelligence, but it's bringing you back time to have more awareness and run with awareness, not adrenaline. That's the future of work. The future of work is not, going on one high to another high, but it's actually maintaining that calm, that presence, that creativity, right, for yourself and for others, and space for others to express their creativity also. And these are my favorite picks, lessons that we put together from SF Tech Week as well as TechCrunch Disrupt 2025. And this is actually, if you want to take a screenshot, feel free to do that. But case in point, how much AI is entering into our leadership and what is it really asking us, right? So if this does not tell you that we're moving into a whole different leadership of AI era, I don't know what does. And if we are fighting against that, or if we're going against that, we're really falling behind and burning ourselves down. So it's really time to be more conscious as a leader. And again, I highly encourage you to work with a mentor, somebody who can help you redefine your leadership into more calm and present, mindful leadership, to transforming from that mindset of working hard, anxious leadership, goals, goals, goals. That mindset is completely outdated. Yes, you are organized. Yes, you are strategic. Yes, you are pairing and working, leading with AI technology to take care of a lot of the workflows. So yes, I highly encourage you to work with a mentor. I highly encourage you to work with a consultant. I work on both sides. I help founders redefine their leadership, go from CEO to true leaders. And I also help business owners and founders with optimize AI technology correctly. And a lot of my philosophy and work comes from Silicon Valley. So if you want to work with me, happy to book a session with you. But today's leadership is not about working hard and being anxious and driving everyone crazy, but it's more about being present, mindful, optimizing, and leading with AI. Thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure. And if you want to learn more, keep following us on Zero to Millions Club. We also do podcast. Follow us on AI Unfiltered podcast that brings you an AI founder every single week. So stay tuned and thank you. It was a pleasure.